Good morning, traders. This is Barry working with StartupTrading.com. It is Tuesday, February 25th, uh, around 5 minutes till 9. So, looking at what's on tap for today as far as scheduled items go, uh, a little bit of news here at 9 in a few minutes, a little bit of news here at 10 o'clock. It is consumer confidence that has been, something that's has moved the market for University of Michigan. We'll see what happens with this one, but we always have volatility around 10 o'clock anyways. So we're going to have, of course, a few talking heads, financial stability. So it's the audience questions that are expected that are really, what to look out for here. And then at 1 o'clock, we're going to have a speech, inflation now and then. It's got the word inflation and audience questions. So, anything is whatever. And then basically, I'm not going to go through it all, but Wednesday after the bell, we got NVIDIA. Thursday, we got preliminary GDP. And then Friday, we have the core PCE. Those are your, big ticket items that are scheduled for the week. Looking back at yesterday's action, the Qs went between 520 and 525. The S the cash market went between basically 59.75 and 60.25, uh, and we traded, around this 600 level again. Lost it, right? Settled down lower, and then we've repaired a little bit of Friday's poor structure, but you know, uh, like I said, normally it would take at least a week to make progress over these excess and A lines. It doesn't mean it will take a week, but lots of poor structure down here, and we don't really have any catalyst till Wednesday after the bell, and then Thursday morning. So it will be perfectly normal for the market to, digest a little down here, and just up and down, uh, two-sided trading basically. So yesterday, we did have another excess and A line put in for the Nasdaq. That's going to come in right at 21,660 half, and then we had some underwater. You can't really see them here because there was only a few ticks, but right at yesterday's low, there's a little bit of underwater that went off. Uh, so there's your structure update. And then, as I mentioned, major SR lines for today, and probably maybe throughout the week, we'll have to see if it changes, right? If more positions get added or subtracted, that makes these boundaries a little bit different. But 520 is your SR line that we are currently below for the Nasdaq, but not by much. We're at 519.52 as I talk. Uh, so, getting back over there, it's, fair value all the way from 520 to 525. Basically, it's about a 210 point run, and then holding below it, 518 is probably not too bad. We did the overnight low was at 516.72. Just to be aware, but you could drift all the way down to 510, and you can see for the week there is some interest at 515. So you should always be paying attention to those $5 markers. The bigger and I think the more important uh, level for make or break, the overnight low was right on this 595 to the penny, 595.00. And there's 142,215 open interest of the puts on this level. So uh, below this level with the VIX spiking, you can accelerate. Below that level with the VIX not spiking, you're probably eventually just gonna come back to it. Uh, is what I would be watching. So even though for today you don't really see too much on the 595, uh, you see a little bit more at 590. You just have to be aware of the number of contracts over here on the legend. Each one of these markers are 50,000 contracts for today. Each one of these levels is only 5,000. So the magnitude of, order over here is 10 times greater on when you're looking at the weekly for these levels. Uh, so we'll keep all that in mind and just watch those levels and see, if they're the boundaries or not. Uh, Yesterday's point of control is 60.34. We left those up last week at 61.37, 61.63. Basically, we got a triple top up there at this point in time. Definite resistance, and until it breaks. And then we have, danced around and not traded this 59.50. Uh, and so we'll just have to see, where we get to. The overnight low in the ES is 59.77.75. So maybe there's a chance we can actually get this 59.50 traded and wiped off the board once and for all. And then there is a little bit of a gap down to, depending on how you look at things, down to 59.20 to 58.88 basically. That's your gap where all this action is above. So it'd be pretty easy to fill that gap. And then once you get in that gap, you're just looking at the next untested point of control, which is 58.82 half. See if that, holds or breaks and then or trades. And then you're going back to these three from 5,700 to 5,800 later. All that's not going to happen today in this session, but uh, definitely on deck for if we fall out of bed here for the week, but we have to fall out of bed first. So we're still in the bed. So as we look at one time framing, we are actually technically on an impulse move down. We're having a look below from yesterday, so it'd be below 21,538 basically for the NQ, and below uh, 60, let's just call it 60.25 for the ES. That's your look below, and now today we get to see if it's a go or if it was a look below and fell potentially. Uh, and you can see we had balance lows here at basically just a smidgen under 6K at 96.75 before, and we had balance lows basically uh, down at 21,160. Uh, excuse me, for the Nasdaq in the past. So you can see that's and we had that divergence, right? The on February 3rd, the ES made a new low and the NASDAQ made a higher low. Um, so, we're coming back and rechecking that at this point in time. Keep in mind, although, I'm just showing the bell to bell trading here, that, if you take this off and look, one of these Sunday lows, and it doesn't matter which one it is, was substantially lower than the price action you're looking at here. So those are the markers that may need to be tested before we find footing if we don't, depending on how this look below goes today that we're continuing. Overnight action, 38 and a quarter points for the ES. And then, we're basically in value, uh, still sitting here holding. Am I even on the right? Let's try this again. So we're basically in value after looking below it for the Russell. And then we did get down and trade some of this area. This was the next poor structure that needed repaired. So basically between 21,281 to 21,325, that's the area that we fell into overnight. And then we'll see what we get out of there. And then as you look for the ES, it still has that 59.90 to 59.95 basically, and it below yesterday's low, below yesterday's low. The only one that did not trade below yesterday's low so far in this session was the Russell. So and you can see the Dow after peaking below. Remember, the Dow is in more of an oversold condition. So is the Russell. As it peaked below yesterday's low, it just as soon as it got back up in yesterday's range, it just went right back up to the comfy spot right in the middle of value. So those are the markers I'm really watching today. Uh, Keep in mind that this excess and A line is above the value area from yesterday. So if we're going to kind of keep slowly one time framing down or meditate, right, this should be the top end of the range. The VIX would really have to be dropping, and you would have to be, doing something above this excess and A line. You could get a potential spike up to, almost 20 yesterday's high, but I would call it at 21,775. Um, and then you got some poor structure looking above there. But my guess is we don't take out yesterday's high during the trading session for the Nasdaq and the ES. We continue to kind of balance and tighten up lower until we can prove whether those levels are going to hold that we're watching the positioning. Remember, we're holding time until NVIDIA, GDP, and core PCE. Unless there's some flash headline that comes out, we're just marking off time down here and looking for either. Remember, this is an auction. We're looking for either acceptance or rejection down here. So the look below and go or the look below and fail is still what's on the table for today, but those positioning markers are key. So the overnight low for the ES, that is key. You'll really want to see the VIX spiking if we drop under that. Otherwise, we're likely to revert back up at least to it. Maybe stay under it, but at least back towards it. If that's not happening. I hope this helps. You guys have a great day. We'll see what Jack's looking at. I hope he's feeling better today. He was pretty down yesterday. So we'll see what's going on, and talk to you tomorrow.